Japanese are doing their New Year's Eve extravaganza is that I have my supports. I'm supporting Ramio Sakaju, I am supporting Alistair Overeem, I am supporting Kid Yamamoto, and I am supporting Karajiri. All four of those are competing, so best of luck to them. This UFC is quite interesting. It's not one that's spectacularly laden with outstanding names. It is, however, it does, however, show some pretty good raw talent, I think, and a lot of people who perhaps might surprise, I think, in how good they actually turn out to be. The match that I'm not interested in not making a prediction for is John Gunderson versus Raffaello Oliveira. Jake Ellenberger versus Mike Pyle. Now, Ellenberger is 21-5. He's got 13 TKO wins, usually loses by decision. He's just coming off a loss and loses to the likes of Rick Story, Carlos Condit, Jay Heron. He's got a win over Pat. Let's go over to Mike Pyle. He's 19-6. He's got 16 submission wins. He's being backed by Extreme Couture, so he should be pretty good. He's got 4 submission losses, however. Wins over the likes of Chris Wilson, loses to the likes of Jake Shields, Brock Larson and Matt Horich. So he loses to low and reasonable scale calibers that he fights. I think I might have to go for Mike Pyle, and really that's because of the training camp he's coming from. I'm going to go for him. I shall go for him by submission. I'll go for a bar submission in the second there. Mike Manoz, who's a great chap, he is returning. Record of 6-1. Do you know, I thought he had a much larger record than that. But anyway, wins and loses both by TKO. He wins over the likes of Nick Catone, loses to the likes of Matt Hamill. He's fighting Ryan Jensen. A record of 14-5. He's got 9 submission wins, but he also has 4 submission losses. Loses to the likes of Joey Villasina, Demian Mayer and Charles Lights. So all pretty good calibers there. Wins over the likes of Steve Steinbeiss and Curtis Stout. So it's going to be an interesting one, this. I am going to go for Mark Manoz here. I think he will win. I'm just not convinced it will be by TKO. I think I might go for decision victory here by Mark Manoz. Steve Cantwell is fighting Vladimir Matsunchenko. Steve Cantwell, let's go through him. He is 7-3. He wins by submission and TKO. He usually loses by decision. He is coming off, bear this in mind, he is coming off 2 losses, okay? And the majority of his record is actually a battle between him and a person called Brian Stan, who he has fought 3 times in 3 years. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses. But that's the major name that keeps coming up with him. Let's have a look at Vladimir. Now, his record is 23-4, which should immediately set off alarm bells with you. What you should be thinking here is, this guy has come off, is coming off 2 losses. He possibly isn't that brilliant, you know, with facing calibers and stuff like that. Only the same guy again and again and again. And this is a guy who has wins with 7 TKOs. He's got 7 submission wins. He's also got 9 decision wins. And he himself has never been submitted when one of Steve Cantwell's specialities is submission fighting. If I told you that Vladimir loses to the likes of Arlovsky and Nog, would you put Steve Cantwell in the same sentence? No, you wouldn't. This is nothing short of a squashing attempt. And it's actually, in my eyes, probably an attempt to get rid of Cantwell altogether from the organisation, which they can do after 3 losses. He has 2 losses in a row. They put him up against somebody who really only loses to, you know, huge names. Well, there we are. I think that he will probably be I'll go for TKO. I'll go for TKO in the first, by Vladimir. Feel a little bit sorry for him. Let's move on. Dan Lozon versus Cole Miller. Oh dear. Fascinating fight, this. This could be fight of the night. It could be really, really exciting. The question you have to ask yourself is Lozon ready in this respect? You know, he's a figure that has sort of appeared once or twice in the UFC before, but he is hardly what I would call a regular there. Cole Miller has been regular in the past, but not so recently. You know, who... I think in the end Cole Miller will win. I shall go for Cole Miller, but I don't know how. Possibly decision. It really depends on how good Dan Lozon is here as to what Cole wins by. I do feel that Cole Miller will win. I'm not completely happy because I like sort of both of them really, and I would like to see Dan Lozon do well. But let's move on. Martin Kampmann versus Jacob Volkmann. Now, Volkmann is 9-1. He's never been TKO'd. He wins by submission, loses usually by decision. He's coming off a loss to Paulo Thiago. Martin Kampmann has a better record, 15-3, but his wins are 7 TKOs. Remember that Jacob has never been TKO'd, and 5 decision victories. He is also coming off a loss. He loses often by TKO, and he is funded by Extreme Couture, so he should be quite good as well. He has losses to the likes of Paul Daly and Nathan Marquardt, but he wins over people like Carlos Condit, Drew McFedries and Charles Light. So, actually, he does manage to conquer a lot of the sort of lower calibres that he faces. I'm going to go for Martin Kampmann on this one, and I'm going to say that he will probably give Jacob Volkmann his first TKO loss, and I'm going to go for it in the second round. Gilbert Weevil, I don't know how, I think that's how you pronounce it, versus Junior Dos Santos. Now, Gilbert has a record, a fantastic record, 36-13. He's got 31 TKO victories, but he loses by submission and disqualification. He's been known to do all sorts, from eye gouging to biting even. He's lost to the likes of Josh Barnett and Jeremy Horn, won over the likes of Sheikh Congo. Junior Dos Santos, he's 9-1. He wins usually by TKO, loses if he's going to lose by submission. He is sort of backed by a team that's hosted by Nog. He's on a 4-fight win streak, and he's actually beaten the likes, and these are pretty much his last couple of fights, Stefan Struve, Krokop and Fabricio Verdun. I do think that Junior Dos Santos is going to win this. I'm going to go for TKO in the third. Wouldn't be surprised either if Weevil gets himself disqualified.